What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Um, it's going to be my first video here. I'm going to be talking about a topic that's been all over YouTube and social media since really the announcement of Battlefield 5, and just what I think about it, and it's like the jokes that are running around that if you're not buying Battlefield 5, then you're a sexist. And it's like, I'm not buying into that. Uh, it has a lot to do with most Battlefield fans, like of the franchise, just it's mostly to do with authenticity, and there are more problems with that than just the female leads. And when it's like, we'll get to that. There are great games that have female leads in them. It's like Horizon Zero Dawn was killing it. Strong female lead character, no problem at all. Everyone loved it. The Last of Us, the first one, you got to play as a female half the game, male half the game. It's like it looks like The Last of Us 2, from what we've seen, is going to be a lot heavier with Ellie, the female lead character, in the second game. And even classics like Metroid, it's like I didn't even know. I thought that game was badass when I was a kid, and I didn't even know Samus was a female. Until I kind of grew up a little bit, and it's like it didn't affect me when I found it out. So it's like, what's the point? If a good game's a good game. Uh, Now it all started for me kinda. I was seeing the authenticity like kind of slide downhill for the Battlefield series when I played Battlefield 1 and everyone's running around with their submachine guns and hipfire and Vickers machine guns, and it's like bulletproof horses, and it's like all these things. And it's like you can let it slide to a point, but you know, active duty members wearing prosthetics, it's in World War II. That's something that Hitler, did it in the final push when the Allies were trying to take Berlin. It's like Hitler sent everyone out. It's like roll them out in their wheelchair, put them on the AT gun. They don't have to move. They can use their hands. Uh, and it's kind of sad, man. It's growing up with World War II games that were period accurate, and it's like you felt like you were there because all the documentaries you watch, all the movies that you've seen depicting World War II that were like period accurate, you felt like you were there, and a lot of us, uh, you know, we know people in our family, or it's maybe even your grandparents served in World War II, and it's a big deal. It's It's really important to get it right, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. It's like you guys don't have to agree with me. I'd like to open up a discussion and see what you guys think. It's Is it okay to toy with a subject that meant so much? It's like the fate of the world hung in the balance, and we're taking our liberties to tell the story when what really happened is far more interesting in most people's opinion that I've heard, anyways. Now, the difference between a good game and a bad game, despite the character's gender, race, sexual preference, it doesn't matter. It's like a good game is a good game. It's it's when you start doing shady shit, to prove a point and stuff like that, and it's like your core audience wants the authenticity. You know that your core audience wants to feel like they're there. They want the immersion, and then you see something like a purple Nazi uniform run by. Not even a Nazi uniform. We can't say that anymore, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's like you see someone run around in polka dotted ass uniforms, and it's like you're in France fighting Nazis and seeing people run around look like unicorns. And then here come, it's like those, not even to mention the rockets that come in. It's like every battle had rocket barrages, apparently. It's just. I'm sorry, I'm not going to cut this because, like I said, this is just a discussion. I wanted to carry out one thought, without putting a bunch of cuts, just carry it on. Just like we were having a conversation. Because I have a lot of these conversations with my friends, and it's like I really enjoy their opinion, and I knew that, we're better to get an opinion than on the internet. So, the real reason why sales are suffering, I think, for Battlefield 5 is the fact that they lack what their player base wants. And, that and on top of the loot boxes, it's like, what do you expect after the failures that were like Battlefront? And I didn't think Battlefront 2 could be worse than Battlefront 1, but well, they showed me. And now it's starting in the sports games, like the EA sports games. It's like they're becoming far too greedy. And it's like people don't buy into that. You can find indie developers that make twice the game that the EA franchise or the EA company developers they put into their games and work. And what they charge $20, £20 or whatever whatever the fucking conversion is for you guys. But it's a great game, and you can get 100 hours out of a game you spend $20 on, or you can get 4 hours out of a game you spend $60 on, and at the same time, oh yeah, here's these boxes. If you want to be good, then buy our boxes. But and they don't going back to it, and a lot of things, it's not even the loot boxes. People could deal with the loot boxes. I could deal with loot boxes to an extent. Now it got a little bit much. Battlefront 2, I couldn't handle that. Okay, it's like I wanted to play that game so badly, but I just couldn't do it. I tried the beta out and I'm like, it's not for me. It's like the gameplay was fun, but it's like just the ideal behind all of your progression just it sucked. It's we the market's open for someone to come in and make, a completely accurate World War II game. It's there's like Day of Defeat. It's like if you have Steam, anyways. You guys that play on PC, there are a few World War II games that are, most of them strictly multiplayer, but they feel accurate when you play them. They're realistic. It's and I'm not talking about time to kill and all that stuff. It's like one shot with M1 Grand, you're done. But it's like in Battlefield or Call of Duty, it would take 4 shots to one. And that's fine. It's like I'm not talking about the power of the weapons. I'm talking about the feel of the game, the immersion. It's like and that again, it might just be me. It's like some people might not play games for immersion. Some people might just play games to shoot at stuff. Some people might just play games to blow off some steam, and that's fine. I do it. I play games to do all of the above. It's like it helps me relax, but I want to feel like I'm somewhere else besides on my couch or in my computer chair when I'm playing. And that's the magic of games. That's why I fell in love with playing games when I was a kid. Because they take you somewhere else. It doesn't depend on what your life's like or what you're going through. It's like you turn on a game, and for a few hours, anyways, you're somewhere else, and it's beautiful. It's art, but a very immersive kind of art. Um, and this kind of all started for me. I knew we were starting to lose like what World War II games were going to be after Call of Duty World at War. You see all the games that are coming out, they're pulling the swastika, which I understand. It's I think to a point, like gaming developers have become afraid of authenticity. It's like, and the historical value that was in these games is sacrificed. It's like they seem to be scared of what the Nazis, and who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be terrified of what the Nazis were and what the Nazis stood for? But that's a point that you need to educate people on instead of hiding. Don't bury the swastika in your game that you're trying to sell as a World War II game just because you're afraid that kids will see it and want to be Nazis. I grew up on Call of Duty. I'm not a Nazi. I'm a really, just basic guy. You're a normal guy, 100%. And it kind of bugs me that they have no faith in their audience to you know take their own ideas from their games and realize what's good and what's bad. And they might blame social media for this. It's like, or technology. It's like it can have more of a negative influence on your player base. Say your game has swastikas like written all through it. And then some kid on his Facebook page sees his racist uncle posting the same thing that he saw in his, oh, that's in my cool Call of Duty game. Well, what does that mean? Oh, and then, he gets his racist uncle's point of view. And then he starts to think, you know what, uncle, you're right. It's like the swastika is cool. But it's like you'll see a lot of that online though. It's like people that, they make a lot of it, and then Battlefield's afraid that their younger audience is going to see people making a lot of it and be like, it's not that big of a deal. And that's just my opinion. Again, this video is full of opinions, and I just want your guys' opinions to, combat mine. It's like agree with me, disagree with me, but just let's discuss it. Because, when social media wasn't around as heavily, it just seemed like games were a lot less affected by what people thought. It's like you had your critics and all that, but now just outrage, owns all. It's like if one thing is people become outraged over one thing, and that's the end of that thing. They ruin it for everyone else. And you have to look deeper than the surface on a lot of these issues as well. You can't just look at a swastika, oh that's bad, take it out. No, that it's bad, yes, but it's better to learn about horrible things in the context of where they came from. Um, the truth is, the sad truth about, World War II is there were Nazis. There were guys running around doing horrible shit and under a swastika. And there were also, outside of the Russian snipers, French resistance fighters that were female. There were no British leaders in the military who were running in with prosthetic arms. Everyone keeps calling it a robot arm. It's not a robot arm. It's a hook hand, a very basic hook hand. But at the same, even a male, it's like you take a man that loses a leg or an arm. You're not sending him back into combat. That's a trip home. It's like you've paid your price for your country at that point. Like they don't expect you to go back out and fight, missing arms and legs. Like I said, unless you're Hitler and it's like Berlin's about to fall, you send out everything you've got. And guys, to be honest, I worry for the future of especially bigger gaming developers who feel like they have to fit to a certain mold just because people want them to be, social justice warriors or uh, far right wing conservative. Your game's not conservative enough for me. What do you mean? There's women in it. And that's not the attitude that you should have. You should have the attitude of, what are you looking for? If you're looking for an authentic game, then play authentic games. If you're looking for a game to just have fun and blow off steam, have fun and blow off steam. But it's like you can't hate on people for not wanting to pre-order your game. You can't. It's like it's a personal preference, and that doesn't make you a sexist, that doesn't make you a racist, doesn't make you a homophobe if you choose not to buy games, you know? But anyways, just let me know what you guys think. I think that the large developers are, if they follow the suit that they're going in now, it's like, I think they're doomed. EA especially. Now it's like others not so much. There's a moderate approach. It's like you don't have to go full right, you don't have to go full left. Just make a period accurate game if that's what you're trying to do. It's like don't fuck around with history, you know, or it's bound to repeat itself. But just anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate you guys listening to this. I'm sorry it was just a long rambling on video, no pauses, no cuts. I probably repeated myself way too much, but this is my first video and I just wanted to get some of my, some things off my mind that I've been thinking about. And in the future of the channel, I'll be talking about everything. It's like I'm a big fan of sports and gaming and film, and I'm not a huge fan of politics, but there's some things that I would like to talk about with other people. It's like we need to let the world know that there are still sane people that aren't far right and they're not far left. Just normal people that go to work every day, they bust their ass, they come home, they love their family, and all they want out of life is happiness and they want peace. It's like they don't want to fight everyone. And if we look, at what makes us different, then we're only going to get farther apart. But it's like we have to start looking at what we have in common with the people in our society, and it's like we could come a lot closer together, as everyone could be a family. It's like all we have to do is just love one another, man, and keep going. It's like life's not easy. It's like why do we make it more difficult? But appreciate you guys sticking around. Love you all very much. Whoever hears this, if anyone listens, I appreciate you very much. Have a great day. Peace out.